This is the Nerdy Things Podcast. This podcast contains strong language, adult themes, and poorly developed ideas. We apologize for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of the Nerdy Things Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin. I'm joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
What's up, Kevin? What's up, Jules?
Heyo. How's it going?
Not much. We are recording early at Tim's request for some reason.
Jesus Christ. It's earlier for me, and it's ridiculous. It better be a good reason. I don't even know why. But
you knew this was happening, Jules. You should have gone to bed an hour earlier. That is exactly how that works.
See, I went to bed an hour later. This is just how I roll.
This is like the nasty woman that lives one building down from me who is late for work every day and speeds out of this 10-mile-an-hour parking lot at 50 miles an hour screaming, "Get out of the way!" Which is exactly how you should be driving.
Well, in Massachusetts, that's how we all drive, right?
No, lady. Leave 10 minutes earlier.
I'm told all the time that Massachusetts drivers are the worst. I have driven all over this great country of ours. Well, kind of great country of ours. And we are not the worst by a long shot. There are places like in the South where people are supposed to be slow and whatnot. If you're not from there, they're just trying to run you over.
Yeah, you know pretty much.
I think a lot of it is that we get a lot of drivers from other places. Like, I've noticed that a lot of the bad drivers are drivers from out of state, and we are reacting to that. And yes, we react poorly, maybe, but I've driven in California. I think California has the best drivers. I think... no, listen, honestly, I mean, I'm not saying L.A. I'm talking outside of L.A. because I don't want to get shot. But other drivers out there, no matter what, like, I had no problem. Everyone used their directional. Everyone stayed in their lane. It was kind of spectacular. Like, I definitely want to move to California.
That's my biggest driving pet peeve, is the directional. Like, the thing with Massachusetts drivers is we're really aggressive because yields are more difficult up here. The roads are all kind of screwed up. If you don't kind of bust your ass to get out into a road, sometimes you'll never get out because nobody will let you go. Just traffic is a pain all the time. So
our major highway is 3 lanes in a tunnel under a city. So
right.
Yeah,
that's
so
dumb.
We're aggressive drivers, but like we all know that. So, you know, we just kind of, you just know that you have to be aggressive. You're more safe when you're more aggressive. But when people are out there and they're not using their turn signal, like if I'm going to get in front of you and I'm borderline cutting you off, I'm using a turn signal. So I'm really not cutting you off. I'm just letting you know, dude, I got to come into your lane, and I know you're probably not going to let me, but I'm doing it anyway, so don't try and stop me. There's your warning. It's when they just come over with no turn signal, that's the thing that pisses me off. And I've noticed that in other states, New Jersey, Maryland, they don't use turn signals. So you're on my blacklist if you don't use turn signals. Just you can be real aggressive, get right on my bumper, my front bumper to get in. Just let me know you're coming. Then I'll brace myself for it. It's no big deal.
Yeah, mine dovetails on that. My pet peeve is when you have your directional on and there's plenty of room for you and you
just don't go.
No. Like,
okay.
I'm trying to go and I got my directional on, and then the guy that's back from where I am in the next lane guns it to try to stop me from getting in front of him. And it's like, nope, I'm just going to go anyway. I had my directional on. I'm in the right. Screw you.
And especially when like you need to get off an exit or something. It's like, dude, I need to get over. Like, either speed up enough so I can get behind you or let me in, because I'm going to miss my exit if you don't, like, let me in this lane right now.
Yep, exactly. You shouldn't be passing me on the right. Screw you, I'm going. I hope you live.
That's a lot of in North Texas, like Dallas area, Austin area, man, it's ridiculous. There's just too many people. Just too many people everywhere. Just stop driving, everybody. Just carpool. Everybody carpool. Go to your neighbor's house and carpool to school or work or whatever. Anyways,
this is why I'm hoping for the future where we have self-driving cars, and cars are more like a Netflix subscription. You just pull out your smartphone, you say, I need a car, and a self-driving car shows up, takes you where you want to go, and then disappears, because instead of parking lots, we've now got underground self-driving storage facilities. And so it's like a taxi, self-driving Netflix smart car situation.
Now, Kevin, will this smart car be okay with me sitting in the front seat? Because that's the real question, I think.
They'll all be front seats, Jules.
Oh,
it's a utopian future.
So that was that's our podcast called Drive Time with Kev, Jules, and Tim. Let's get into the Nerdy Things podcast. I want to thank y'all for listening. I want to thank you for following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Nerdy Things Pod, Nerdy Things Pod. We had a lot of cool discussions going on Twitter and all that stuff on Instagram as well. So go ahead and be in the know, get talking to us, get talking to other people that listen to us, and do all that stuff. So if you want to go and get merch, if you want to see our YouTube channel, if you want to be a patron on our Patreon, all you got to do is go to nerdythingspod.com. We have links to all that stuff there. There's like a little drop down menu, and you go to merch. If we have some cool merch, I think it's, what'd you say, in like a week or so, there's going to be like a...
Yeah, I think it's about a week. The TeePublic is going to be having a sale. T-shirts will be $15 again. So I plan on picking something else up. Should be kind of neat. We got a couple more designs going up today for anybody listening. That's tomorrow for you two. And we'll make sure that everybody has access to them.
Very cool. So go to nerdythingspod.com. You can get some merch. We have some cool designs. You can get on a mug, any type of t-shirt. You can get stickers of the design. So many things you can get that are Nerdy Things Pod and Patreon. So what happened? What is this? Did we hit our first goal? What's that about? Did we hit our first Patreon goal?
We have 4 official, and then one of our bosses at work the other day put $1 in my pocket and said he wanted to hear our Hook commentary.
Wow.
So I think that counts.
I was selling yesterday. We were talking about Dark Tower. We were talking about some nerdy stuff. And this gentleman was talking about reading books on tape. And, little preview for all of you guys who are thinking about joining Patreon. Kevin and I will be recording a video of me doing a dramatic reading of Green Eggs and Ham. And trust me, it will not disappoint. So he was talking about books on tape, and I'm like, hey, for only $1, you can become a patron of our podcast and listen to me read Green Eggs and Ham, which is sure to be a hoot. And then we were blah, 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 and he said something about Hook, and I'm like, well, for only $1, we'll get our 5th patron, and we will do the greatest audio commentary of the classic feature film Hook. And he pulls $1 out of his pocket and puts it in Kevin's shirt pocket, and boom, there you have it.
But I don't know. It's not official. It's not online, so we gotta wait till the end of the month. I don't know,
dude. We first of all, we are in-person kind of people. We're not millennials. We deal with stuff in person.
You see,
cleared. We don't have to wait for that check to clear. It's in Kevin's pocket. He just needs to go online and go doop doop doop, paid. It's cleared, dude. We already have the money.
I'm in the type of, scene where you're not in a relationship unless it's Facebook official. So it says we only have 4 patrons. I don't know.
Kevin, log on to Patreon and just do what you need to do. I don't know, because we have the money.
Anyways.
I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah, you'll do the whole thing.
That's not, we don't want that.
So yeah, I guess we're doing a Hook commentary for our patrons, and it might go up for everybody. I'm not too sure, but we're going to figure out when to do that, and that's going to be there. So remember, go to nerdythingspod.com. There's a little drop-down menu. Go to Patreon. Become a patron. We're going to be doing, I think, another something at 10. We're thinking about doing like a giveaway of one of our things. We have some other stuff that's coming in that we've been discussing, and it's going to be super cool. We might do a giveaway of something really cool. So become a patron, and you get to do all that cool stuff with us, and you get to hear a lot of exclusive content, see videos, see pictures, stuff we don't usually put up on social media. It's all there on our Patreon.
Awesome.
We also like our iTunes reviews, and we have a new iTunes review, which is pretty awesome. So it's by it's by Dashing Digressions, and they say, new subscriber. These guys are opinionated and entertaining. They're clearly working really hard to deliver a quality product. Looking forward to see where they go. Thank you. And I think they're another podcaster. They're a podcaster that we've been talking to on Twitter. So thank you. And we like our iTunes reviews. And if you want your iTunes review read on the podcast, all you got to do is review. Go right now. You're just listening. It's just audio. You can mess around on your phone. Just go review us on iTunes.
We will literally read any iTunes review you leave us.
Yeah, for sure.
We have no problem doing that. Tell us your innermost secret. Tell us your most blatant, outrageous thought. We're cool with it. We'll say anything.
Yeah, you could write crappity crap crap crapperoo and we would read it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, Tim. If we get that one, you can read that one.
Okay, thanks.
Nice.
So if you haven't been here, if you're a new subscriber or whatever, we get into nerdy news and then we do a main topic at the end, about halfway through. And this week's main topic is the Dark Tower, and I have a lot of words for that one. We're going to do a non-spoiler and then a spoiler review at the end. So we're going to get into the nerdy news.
Nerdy news. At 6 o'clock.
All right. So first thing I had on the nerdy news this week was kind of exciting to me. Carl Urban is apparently in talks to reprise his role as Judge Dredd for the upcoming TV series for Dredd. I think that's spectacular. I love Carl Urban.
Why?
Because he's like a wider Joey Tribbiani.
Oh, yeah, steal my thing. Thanks.
Exactly. We were just talking about this before the episode. Tim had to look up who Carl Urban was. But no, I love Carl Urban because he's a dry, like, straight man, but I think he's hilarious in that. Like, I love him in Star Trek. I love his bones in Star Trek. Not his skeleton,
You
but
love
like his portrayal
I love his bones.
of Bones the Doctor in Star Trek.
He's got great bone structure.
He's got great bones. Look
Drank
at those.
a lot of milk.
Just wide shoulders. Oh, but no, he is like a perfect guy. I loved Almost Human, the Fox TV show where he played a cop in the future and his partner was an android, and he just played off of that so well. Like, he's this serious action, funny, non-serious guy. He blends it and does a spectacular job with it.
That's going to be interesting for this TV series then. Yeah.
I mean, it should be fun. I like Judge Dredd, especially his version of it. I think the Sly Stallone one needed some work. Sorry, Rob Schneider, but it can work. Like, we're seeing a lot of people in talks to go from big screen to TV.
Why is that though? Do they get a lot of money? I mean, I know they get money per episode, but like, why is? Well, I guess because there's a lot of options, huh? There's a lot of subscription services. We're going to even talk about a YouTube Red series that's coming out later, but
yeah,
why are people moving from the movie into TV? Do you just get more money doing that, or is it more longevity, more popularity?
I think it's a steadier paycheck and easier work, because in the time that you shoot a movie, you can shoot an entire TV season, and like the production value is arguably lower and the standards are a little bit lower in some cases, and you can kind of just do it rather than it has to be 100% perfect. And so, the special effects are less, so it's less strenuous on them. You're not going to be jumping around. And another one that we've seen recently, actually, I've seen Jeremy Renner talking about, or somebody talking about Jeremy Renner being in talks for a Netflix Hawkeye series. And I mean, he come out and said that is not happening, but still, there's but there's talk of that. Like, that's something that actually could happen.
Well, there used to be a stigma around TV. If we go back 20 years, it was you're either a film or well beyond that too. You're either a film actor or you're a TV actor. And TV actors were looking to graduate into film. And once you made it there, you didn't want to go back because it represented a step back in your career. But the creative landscape is very different now. TV shows are important works. This goes back to the late 90s, really, is when that changed, when we saw The Sopranos and then into Lost and Jack Bauer, 24 and Prison Break, good. And the big TV movie slash series became a thing, and then sitcoms started getting bigger actors. I mean, it just the lines are blurred. I think people are in a space now with different mediums where they're like, if it's creative, if it's good, if there's something in there for the audience, I'm okay with being a part of it. And as a result, you have people like Kevin Spacey making TV shows. I mean, 30-something years ago, Kevin Spacey would never have been on a TV show. The guy is an Oscar-winning actor. That's where we're at now. People just want to be involved creatively in any project that they think is excellent. So,
yeah, but a lot of TV now is long-form movies.
Yeah.
Like the Game of Thrones, to your point, House of Cards, all of those, like those would be, they're movie quality, they're movie level stuff.
And that's something I wish, we're going to talk about it later, that the Dark Tower would have been, and I much would have rather have it as a Netflix series over a movie, just because of that long, being able to discuss so many things over so many hours, and the not so drawn out, but you know what I mean? There's just like so much time to actually dive into all these different aspects, and that's kind of what I wish they would have done, and we'll talk about it later. But
sorry, Jules, and I mean no offense to you, but I just tuned you out for a couple of seconds because I have to partition my mind. I can't talk about Dark Tower yet, or I will go crazy.
Oh,
so we're
The theme music actually turns the main topic Kevin on. I see. So that's what you do.
It's just this topic that's doing that.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, 24 is another good example of that long-form TV type where, I mean, I couldn't really get into 24, and Tim just mentioned 24, but they are looking to do another 24 spinoff, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like we're living in the past. I feel like we've got a million different reboots and revivals happening now.
Pretty much everything we're going to talk about for the news is just like a revival, reboot. Somebody's in discussion. I like how they said, I think you put right here, I'm in discussions with them about that. Like he's legit just saying, I'm in discussions. People are just talking.
Words are happening.
Yeah, words are happening. Things are doing it. Whatever.
That's my favorite thing, like in video game news right now. That such and such a publisher is in talks with Nintendo about doing something for the Switch. If you're in the video game industry and you're not at least in talks with every manufacturer of a major console, you're doing yourself a disservice. But literally, like, in talks means there's been an email sent back and forth. You know what I mean? It's the most ridiculous term in all of journalism to say so-and-so is in talks with so-and-so.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, that is even like, I sent you an email and you never responded. We're in talks.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing this. A little bit more active than that is apparently Vin Diesel's Miami Vice reboot with NBC. I don't think he's going to be starring in it, but he's definitely going to be producing it for some reason.
Oh, that's a bummer. I'm not as excited as I thought I was 15 minutes ago.
They haven't announced any casting, so I would love it if he would be in it. Like, that would be a spectacular movie to TV show transition for him.
Yeah, see, that's another great example right there of a movie actor. That's all he's been. And to go do a TV show would be cool. And I said, I don't think that's a step down in today's world either.
No, I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Peter McManus, he's doing Spike TV's The Mist, and I heard a lot of good things about The Mist. He's going to be doing the script, so I mean, sure, why not? Let's do that.
Let's put talent together, though. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, if Vin Diesel's a star, I'm actually, super stoked about that. I think that would be a cool show. If he's just a producer, I mean, we'd have to see who the star is, but I'm not really
The Rock
excited about it presently. No, that's not a fit. It's not a fit. Not seeing that happen, guys, for multiple reasons. Not seeing that happen.
No, weird.
They work so well.
Unless the whole show is Miami Vice fist fight. And it's just The Rock and Vin Diesel getting pissed at each other and getting into a fight every week on TV.
I'd love to see The Rock play Michael Knight in a Knight Rider reboot.
Oh, God. Wow.
How cool would that be? Like, we'd have to get him that, 80s pompadour wig to wear. But, I mean, he's already proven he can play David Hasselhoff. He did it in the Baywatch reboot parody movie.
Did he?
He did. Yeah. He did.
Okay, we proved that, huh? Yeah. All right. I heard differently from Kevin on a podcast somewhere, but yeah, that would be interesting. You just got to get him to rock sort of the hair that he used to have when he was wrestling.
Oh,
like,
yes.
just a little bit longer.
Like that famous fanny pack picture.
Oh, that's a great
yes,
picture.
Yes, it's such an iconic image in everyone's mind these days.
I think he redid that picture like in 2016 or something.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
I loved that. But apparently James Gunn and David Hasselhoff have been in discussions for a Knight Rider reboot.
I'm like kind of okay with that, even if Hasselhoff is the star. Like, I think that might be funny.
I would definitely be on board for that. Like, I grew up on Knight Rider. I used to have a little Knight Rider. Like, I had a Knight Rider bicycle. I had a Knight Rider Hot Wheel, or not Hot Wheel, Big Wheel before that. Like, Knight Rider is my jam. And I got so excited when they were doing a Knight Rider reboot a couple of years ago on TV when they had Will Arnett as the voice of Kit. Oh, no, they struck that down and it was Val Kilmer. That's fine, I guess. And then Kit was this indestructible car that got destroyed every episode. And it was just not at all good.
Kev,
so what kind of... Oh,
if you're a big Knight Rider fan, Kev,
yeah,
I just had this vision in my head, like it just came into my head. Because if we're gonna reboot things, I like the idea of like trying to do it different. So let's say it's not a Knight Rider TV show. Let's say we're gonna do a Knight Rider movie.
Yep.
But it's less campy and a little more serious, and it stars Miles Teller.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just thought that would be really cool. Like, I just picture Miles Teller being in this car and being kind of a serious guy, but the car being super cool and it being an awesome action movie.
You know what? I could see this happening because even though Fantastic Four, I like Miles Teller.
Miles Teller's awesome.
I do. I like him, and he's apparently in everything coming up. Like when I saw whatever movie I saw this week for the podcast, he was in like 3 of the trailers for the upcoming movies.
Well, go back to last year. He was in a ton of crap last year. He's like the dude right now.
Yeah,
I
he's
dig
like he's like the Liam Neeson of a couple of years ago.
Like the Jude Law of a couple of years before that.
There you go.
Or maybe even like a what's his name that did Ansel Elgort, whatever, from Baby Driver.
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean, I could see that, but it's kind of like a little bit of the same. You know, like no, I wouldn't be upset about that. But there was just something about this serious, like Miles Teller, like
yeah, sure.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not. This is obviously not happening. We're just starting false rumors.
Spitballing. We're spitballing here.
It just came to me, but I'm like, dude, Miles Teller, Knight Rider, serious movie.
We just have to will it into the world. We just have to keep if all our listeners just positive thoughts. Yes, Will especially positive thoughts into
Alan Casado
the world.
Putting it out there in the universe. That makes it happen, right?
Now I'm thinking Will and Grace. I don't. Has the Will and Grace revival even aired yet?
No, I thought that was coming soon.
It's upcoming. So they renewed it for season 2, and now NBC is interested in doing The Office and 30 Rock revivals. We've got Roseanne revival. We've got SWAT on CBS, Dynasty on the CW. That's weird. I don't want to live in the past this much. Like I don't rewatch movies unless I have to. I don't tend to rewatch TV unless someone's got something over me and they're blackmailing me. So why do I want to see all of these things revived when they ended? And some of them ended well and most of them didn't, but I still don't care because it's been 30 years.
Yeah, it's just they made money before and they can make money now and they don't really have to put a whole lot of work into it to make some more money. You know what I mean? They're like going to write off, oh, did you hear The Office is going to come back? Whatever. So-and-so, this person tells this person. They're like, yeah, cool. Let's watch it. And they don't have to do a whole lot of marketing maybe. Like, or I almost know.
Wouldn't mind different. Like I wouldn't mind if it was a spin-off rather than a revival. Like if it was just, the Grace show or the Will show. Like so many good shows though are spin-offs of other shows and you just you forget.
Yeah.
Like the Simpsons, which I'm not going to say is a good show, but it's been going on for more than 20 years by a long shot.
It's been going.
Yeah. I mean, and there's no end in sight. I was reading something earlier that Fox execs were like, "Yeah, we're not ending that soon." But that's a spinoff of the Tracy Ullman Show,
Right?
you know. Like Frasier was a spinoff of Cheers.
Wasn't Mork and Mindy a spinoff of Happy Days?
Happy Days? Yeah,
Mork
exactly.
appeared in Happy Days first, and nobody would ever know that, if you didn't watch Happy Days first.
But I mean, if you have more story to tell more story. You didn't. That's why you ended the show.
Well,
you know,
so I read this headline, and at first I'm like, oh, give me a break, right? And The Office, I think, had a hard enough time staying kind of... They lost their staying power at the end. I was never a big fan of the show to begin with. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I recognize it was a great show. I'm not putting down The Office because that would be a ridiculously unpopular opinion. I think it's a great show. It didn't appeal to me for some reason. But, once Steve Carell left, they had a real hard time kind of keeping that going.
Yeah.
30 Rock was a show that I think ended because they just wanted to end it. Like, it was only 6 seasons. I think they could have kept going, but Tina Fey and everybody's just like, no, we're done. This is fine. Let's end on a high note. But the reason why I think 30 Rock could actually work now is there was a lot of political humor in that. The current climate would they would kill in the current political climate. It would be awesome. So I actually think that show could work right now for very specific reasons.
I could see that.
I mean, Jack Donaghy would be like in bed with Trump. Like, that would be the case. I mean,
but
would
that's
be
exactly
in
what I'm
cahoots.
trying to say. Like, Jack Donaghy is Trump.
Right.
Like, he just was playing the same character on SNL that he was when he was on 30 Rock. So I guess you're right or you're wrong, and I can't decide which.
Oh, I'm definitely right on this one. It would work. I don't know if they could get everybody together again, but it would totally work.
I'm sure
dude.
they could at the least for a little bit. I mean, what's Scott Adsit doing, voicing Baymax? You got the guy that played Kenneth. He just shows up on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver every once in a while as a weird background character. Yeah, he does. He's everywhere. But I guarantee they could at least do a short revival.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'd totally be down for even
for
if,
at least
like
a
you
season.
said, even if it was one season, like a 20, even a 10 episode run or something like that. It would be worth doing, especially right now.
I could get on board with that.
And it's Tina Fey. I can get on board with anything that she's doing.
Yeah.
Mean Girls.
You know what else I was reading recently that I didn't put in our notes for today? Did you know that they're doing a How I Met Your Mother spinoff?
Oh, boy.
They've talked about it several times, but
they're moving
never got off
forward
the
with
ground.
How I Met Your Father.
Really?
And
Really?
Yeah.
Because that got killed a couple years ago.
It did, and they're trying to move forward with it again. Which you watched a lot of How I Met Your Mother, right, Tim?
A billion times, yes.
Yeah. So you remember Barney's theory on Billy Zabka, right? That he was the protagonist in the the whole movie of Karate Kid. So YouTube Red has just signed on Billy Zabka and Daniel there. What's his name? How come I can never remember his name? Ralph Macchio.
Machio.
So to do a spin-off of Karate Kid called Cobra Kai. And it picks up 30 years after when they've swapped roles so that Ralph Macchio's the bad guy and Billy Zabka's the good guy. I kind of like this.
I'm so on this movie,
but
TV
this
show,
is what I'm
whatever
talking
it is.
about. Like, this is more story. This is a different take on it. This isn't Karate Kid. This isn't like, Karate Kid, the next generation. And they just have the same things and they're all good and life's been great since they started. It's growth. It's change. It's what I like to see in the world.
Yeah, that's and it's supposed to be like a comedy, right, or something. It's gonna be like comedic. That's super interesting and super great that YouTube Red picked that up and is doing that. But not a lot of people enjoy change, probably as much as you. And I'm sort of on the fence of it as well, kind of like the flip roles and stuff, because a lot of people hated the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling. Whenever she did a 19 years after or whatever, and they did a whole Harry Potter's older, now it's dealing with his kids, and a lot of people hated that because it kind of quote unquote messed with the canon. It changed the way some people felt about Harry Potter. It kind of whatever. It made them think differently about some of the characters, but it's like they grow and they change, and it's not going to be all good and stuff. And a lot of people have them in their mind, these characters in their mind, as just being like, this person's never going to change, and this person thinks this, and they're never going to change from that. And it's like, no, you gotta.
But that's why a lot of people aren't writing stories. Like, they don't have that thing. Stories are change. Stories are death and destruction.
Yeah.
And the coping with that. And so that's the best stories out there. Is prime example. So when they were writing Breaking Bad, I have read that they would just write themselves into a corner at the end of a season with no clue how to get out of it, so that the next season when they picked up, they would have to write themselves out of it in a creative way. And
that's
I like
cool.
that. Like, that is very cool. The story is informing them rather than them influencing the story. And I think a lot of what's wrong with TV and movies now is that people sit down with minor ideas and they have to get to there. And so they contrive a story to get there to show this one thing they thought was cool, rather than having an overall idea of what things feel like and letting the characters that you've created and you've populated with personality take you there.
I really like the Breaking Bad idea, because it does make the writers and everybody that's working on it get into the minds of the characters and sort of just be like, how would this person get out of this? What kind of situation can we put these people in next? And it seems very organic. And I don't know, I really hope this does well, and I think the two main actors are gonna be super funny in it. They've been super like campy with their roles. I mean, they even showed up like on It's Always Sunny before. They go to a bunch of different cons, and they're all super great with their fans and stuff. So I'm really excited. I kind of want to see this. I might do YouTube Red. There's too many subscriptions though. That's a lot.
Their performances on How I Met Your Mother were always were good. And I'm super on board with this as a remake. I mean, I don't even care really what the plot is, although I'm interested by it. I just think that this will be cool. I'm very encouraged by this.
Yes, very much so. You guys see the photos of Josh Brolin as Cable in Deadpool 2? That's another encouraging thing. I am super excited about that. I think this is going to be a spectacular movie.
Well, of course. I mean, Deadpool is awesome.
Deadpool was awesome, and I am sad that it didn't make my list of top 10 when I was putting up a top 10 list on Twitter the other day.
It would have made mine, so.
Totally forgot about it. I just, But no, that looks good. I cannot wait for that. That should be.
This looks fantastic. And then Ryan Reynolds posted another picture, right, of somebody else, Domino, of how she's gonna look.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. He's just like building a bunch of hype because he knows a lot of people are looking at him. And his other movie that's out right now, that's coming out, Hitman's Bodyguard. They're using his Twitter as well. Like they're using, quote unquote Deadpool marketing sort of on their Twitter sponsorships and all that. Just like throwing out the Deadpool name, throwing out Ryan Reynolds.
He knows how to hype. Like he's good at that. And I got to give him credit for it, because I definitely want to see Hitman's Bodyguard too, because of the hype around it.
Ryan Reynolds is a social media guy. Like, he's really good at it. His wife is really good at it. Like, they know how to work social media to their own advantage in a big, big way.
Who's his wife?
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Accepted. What's her name? I can't think of her name. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
And his personality lends it to that sort of thing on Twitter and all that.
Blake Lively.
Oh, Blake Lively.
Yeah.
Okay.
I skipped my mind. But yeah, they're both like super awesome on social media and kind of together too, which is cool. They interact really well together.
Good.
But yeah, did you see the picture he posted this week? It was only like half of him, and it was about him getting ripped and he's like bleeding.
No, I didn't see that.
Like this, nobody really knows what to make of this photo, but it's talking about like, because Josh Brolin looks so ripped, and he was talking about working hard, and he's like bleeding. He has no shirt on. It's crazy, but yeah, I've been the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan going back to what the hell was that comedy that he did way back in the day? Waiting and Van Wilder.
Van Wilder.
Dude, I saw Van Wilder in the theater like 8 times.
Nice.
So funny.
I still haven't seen Waiting.
Wow. Speaking of I guess celebrity couples. I don't know if y'all heard this and it's not on the thing, but Anna Faris and Chris Pratt are gonna split. They announced it like at 10 at night a couple days ago, and they did it really formally, which I'm kind of happy about, like on a Facebook post or something, to let the whole world know kind of collectively that, hey, we love our son or whatever, this is for him, but we're gonna still love him and everything how it should be, I guess, and we're just not gonna be continuing forward. And they're doing all that stuff. They want some privacy and all that. So but the world, like, everybody was like so shook about this. It was ridiculous. Because
so a couple of things. I'm sad that Facebook announcements are now considered formal.
Yeah. Dude, why Twitter?
Well,
Twitter is
it was across
informal,
all
and Twitter,
social media platforms.
Yeah, for
True.
sure.
Okay.
True, but that's still. But yeah, no, I am super sad. Like, I love both of them individually, and I thought they were spectacular together. Like, I listened to a couple of episodes of Anna Faris's podcast. Anna Faris is Unqualified, and that is a spectacular podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, if you are not listening to that, give it a shot. Pick and choose episodes. You don't have to know anything from prior. She has amazing celebrity guests on every week, and they give advice column style to different listeners that have phoned in, or they actually wind up calling those listeners and giving them unqualified advice on how to deal with whatever is ailing them. And most of it is really good advice, and some of it is just funny and weird crap.
It's funny because I almost started listening to that podcast because Chris Pratt was pimping it. Like, they were always so supportive of each other's endeavors. Like, he's like, hey, you got to listen to my wife's podcast. It was like, number 5 the last 6 weeks or something like that. It was, so I almost listened to it because of that. Like, this news really bummed me out. Like, I know it's celebrity marriages, that's their own business, and, a lot of them come and go, and I think it's partially because the business is so hard, but I don't want to put a judgment on that, but this one specifically just totally bummed me out, man, because I just like both of them. Kind of like I feel about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. I feel like it was a totally genuine relationship, and you root for those ones to last, and it's just, man, what a bummer this was.
Well, my wife and I were talking about this, and it like, obviously we're reading into this, but she's doing that TV show, is it Moms?
Yeah.
And so she's sort of stationary, and he's doing movies, and he's doing a ton of movies. He's shooting Jurassic Park sequels. He's shooting Guardians of the Galaxy sequels. He's shooting who knows what, and he's kind of all over the place shooting those.
See, but this is why it's so hard in Hollywood, and this is funny. Somebody who was just on my radar this week, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. They've done their marriage so right. They actually had an agreement with each other that they wouldn't take roles simultaneously. If they couldn't, if they could somehow travel with each other, that would be fine, or if they could work the travel. But if they were going to be away from each other and the family for too long, they wouldn't take roles simultaneously, unless they was Scooby-Doo and they worked together, And those two are like, they're doing it so right. Like, it's awesome. I love it. Not that Chris Pratt and Anna Faris weren't. I'm not, like I said, I'm not judging. I don't know their life, but I am admiring Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar and what they've done with their life, and being like at the peak of post-teen stardom, and now like having a real life where they're still active but not what they were.
And they look super happy. I saw some pictures recently, and they're just like there with their kids or whatever, and it's like, oh, look at them. Yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr. has like gray hair, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Speaking of that, dude, like, he does a podcast too called Prince and the Wolf. It's him and a comedian called Josh Wolf, and it's kind of like what we do. Like, he's a big nerd.
What? Don't tell them that. Then they're gonna go listen to that instead.
That's okay if people listen to it, but I want to have him on our show. Like, this is a new goal of mine. I was listening to Prince and the Wolf, and I'm like, Freddie Prinze Jr. is, I think, the epitome of like the modern day nerd. Like, this guy 15, 20 years ago was the dude. Like, every chick wanted him. He played the popular guy in every movie that he was in. He's like good looking and blah, blah, blah. But in real life, he's just a total nerd. He loved video games. He loves comic books. He just loves, karate and martial arts. He's a big martial artist and whatnot. And now he owns that, because I think now in today's culture, you can just own being a nerd. But I'd love to have him and have a short form kind of interview and talk to him about like what it's like to go from the late 90s where you're either the cool dude or you're the nerd to now being the cool dude who is the nerd. Like, what a cool transition that is. I'd love to have him on this show. That would be so cool.
So make that happen. Reach out to him. Harass the crap out of him. I don't want
to do that, but like...
Okay, then email his agent. I don't know how this works.
I'm going to DM him on Twitter, right?
I gotcha.
Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing. Sure.
I'm going to slide into his DMs.
Oh God!
No, you know what? No, you're reaching there, Tim.
Yeah,
maybe stop with that.
Okay, before episode 100, we got to get him on. That's a new goal.
Nerdy Things Pod fans on Twitter. I got Freddie Prinze Jr. to tweet me back once. Let's reach out to this dude. Let's see if we can get him on his podcast. Get him on our podcast. See if he can help us out. Yeah. At him. Let's do it.
Make this happen.
Cool. And it'll be fun for all of us because you get to hear it and then we get to talk to him. So.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
That could work. I wanted to put in a little bit of comic book news because I really kind of want to work up to a comic book episode with us.
Yeah, and there's been some talk on Twitter and things like that. People want a comic book episode. And yes, Kevin's working really hard and we can see it.
I am. I have a list. I got to pare it down because it's right now 100 stories across 4 different publishers. Oh, yeah. No, I can't do that to you two. So I'm going to cherry pick some of the best from each, but I am kind of torn. Like, I want to do classic stories, like the best of the best, and I also kind of want to try to find some, like, onboarding points for different comic seasons or stories and series, rather, so that we can kind of give some advice. Like, hey, you want to get into the new 52 with DC or Rebirth or whatever they're on now? Here's how you do that. Yeah, sure. So I'm working. I'll get back to you. I'll give you guys at least like 2 or 3 weeks notice on when we're going to do it. I'll give you primers on what we're going to be reading so that you guys have time to prep for it, and then we'll announce it to everybody else.
Very cool.
But in comic book news, apparently Hellboy's Mike Mignola wants the new movie coming up with David Harbour from Stranger Things to kick off a shared universe of movies. And I love Hellboy, but I don't know that I need this again.
Another universe. Let's keep doing it. Just throw them all at me.
You don't have to tell me it's going to be a universe. Just make a good fucking movie and then make another good fucking movie and be like, hey, look, these connect like puzzle pieces. And we didn't have to tell you this ahead of time because you're not a moron.
It's all just trying to build hype. And I mean... You can just leave it alone. We'll be hyped. I mean, a lot of people love Hellboy. A lot of people liked what it did at the beginning, but now we got some new people in there, and it's like, oh, maybe it'll be even better. It has the possibility of being better. So people are hyped about it already. Just let it happen. Spoiler alert. Just let it happen.
I don't care.
But I mean, this is the new norm. Like, Netflix just bought Mark Millar's team of comic book things to make a series of films, TV shows, and kids shows. And that's the same type of thing. Like, I'm sure they're going to be doing a shared universe between them. And this is the guy that came up with Kingsman and Wanted and Kick-Ass. And though the Wanted movie was terrible, like, I'd love to see a true to comics Wanted TV series.
Sure,
I mean, they'll never ever do it, but that would be spectacular.
If anybody would do it, it's Netflix, though.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be straight up on that.
It's in a good,
Netflix wouldn't be able to do because they don't have the rights to all of the visuals that go in it. Because in the Wanted comics, it's like, I mean, and they can definitely like generic it up, but it takes place in a universe where all of the superheroes from comic books used to be real people, and now they're all kind of dead, and there's very few good superpowered people, and there's just all these relics of like the bygone era, like web shooters and all this stuff just laying around.
Oh, so they'd have to like reference other properties.
But like I said, they can make it very generic, and that I'd still like it because it'd still be better than the Wanted movie that we got with Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy.
Ooh.
Hey, wasn't there like gun shooting in that movie? Like, wasn't that a thing? Like, what little dark towery?
They could bend the bullets like the Dark Tower.
right. I remember
that's
that
the only
now.
thing
Okay.
everybody remembers.
Shared
That whole
universe,
movie is
yeah.
like coming back to me now. When you mentioned it yesterday, I thought it was a totally other thing, and now
No.
you're like, oh, James McAvoy, that's right. He could like bend bullets, Dark Tower
Yeah.
kind of thing. All right.
That's
Yeah,
the
no.
only thing
That
anybody
was
remembers it from. Just the he can do this thing, and it's like, oh, okay, that's the movie that guy does that one thing, and it has Angelina Jolie. It's like,
Right.
yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Netflix, we got sad news yesterday that Disney is pulling their stuff from Netflix in 2019.
Can you see
So
my
go watch
face
it all
turning
now.
red? Can you see my face turning red
Yes.
through the microphone?
don't-
Can you see
Tim
it?
was
Don't.
super mad about this.
Dude, I'm so pissed
why,
about this.
Why are you mad? Talk it
Jules,
out.
You just hit it on the head. We don't need more streaming services.
Yeah.
No,
We need some consolidation on this.
but
We
Disney
need
is
some
going to make a
solidarity.
ton of money doing it.
They
and
are.
They know
and
they're
it's
going to
so
do it
stupid.
because they have
But
all the
this is how
Marvel, all that
two
stuff.
things are going to happen. You're going to get people that are going to pirate their movies more now, and they do a good job staunching that flow now, but they're not going to be able to keep up with it. And you're going to get people who subscribe just for like 1 month and then never subscribe again because it's BS.
Dude, this is the thing. So Disney has been working with Netflix since 2012, and they've had, various movies on there. Not a lot of huge ones for a while, but they'd cycle some big ones in and out. And then like 8 months ago, if it was even that long, they announced an exclusive partnership with Netflix. Disney movies would only be on Netflix, and Hulu would lose a couple, and blah, blah, blah. But because it was exclusive, we were going to start to get the big ones. Like we got Rogue One. That was all that was on my Facebook feed for like a night when it first came out. It's like, oh, gotta go. Rogue One's on Netflix. And it's like, this is an exciting thing because you're going to get Star Wars movies. You're going to get Marvel movies. You're going to get like Beauty and the Beast and shit. I mean, on Netflix, I don't have to buy the Out of the Vault special edition only for a limited time
30th anniversary
31th anniversary edition Blu-ray HDR with bonus digital version from Disney. I can watch it on Netflix
now in 4K.
where I watch everything else. And I'm like, this is awesome. And now 8 months later they're like, yeah, that's only through 2019. Then we're pulling out, we don't want to get too pregnant with this, so we're gonna go and start our own streaming service, and we're gonna make you pay, because it's Disney, probably $40 a month to watch frickin' Disney movies, and it's so greedy, and you're taking all of these great movies away from the people who want to watch them. I'm the people. I'm pissed. I can't go boycott level, I don't think, but I'm pissed, and I gotta do something about it, and I just haven't figured out what it is yet.
You're
Tweet at
not
me.
boycott level. You're going to talk about it on a podcast. That's what level of mad
There you
are.
go.
Tweet at me, guys, and tell me what I should do. When 2019 comes around, I got a couple years to plan for this. What should I do? How should I handle this situation?
I know how you can start.
Tell me.
You can start by not giving a shit that they've cast like 16 different people in The Lion King.
Yeah, some of those people, like,
Stick it to
I
'em.
don't care about, like, whatever. Except for I'm all pissed off again. I was in such a good mood today. I don't like Beyonce. Come at me.
No.
Oh,
Twitter,
God,
come at me, social
no.
media.
Unpopular
I don't like
opinion.
Beyonce. I don't think she's a good
no.
actress. I don't think she's a great singer. She screams all the time. Like, if I had to listen to an album of hers, I think I would go, like, mentally insane, banging my head against the wall, because it's the same high note and the same tone that's like nails on a chalkboard to me over and over and over again. I don't like Beyonce. I don't want her as Nala. Get me anybody else. Anybody else.
I was just thinking the other day that we got way too nice. Like, after a while, I was like, man, we're like agreeing with each other and we're all super nice and positive about everything. We should probably change that.
Yeah, it's been a good
'cause-
run.
Yeah, and then it's like Tim comes out today and just launches that, and now the whole beehive is going to be coming at our Twitter account. And I don't know if I can handle that. So
Just go.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been commenting lately, trying to get a little more active again on Twitter on the Nerdy Things podcast stuff. You see who I am. I am in a Red Sox uniform holding a baseball bat for something
just
that
say
I
you're
did.
at
So,
Tim Hunt,
I don't
right,
even
or
remember what
something?
it is. Just find me and then follow me,
Jesus.
and then just come directly at me. Leave Jules out of it. Beyonce sucks.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, you got John Caney from Civil War. He played T'Challa's father, T'Chaka, as Rafiki. You get Bouncy as Nala, as Tim just went over. You get Alfred Woodard as Simba's mother, and Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. So, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to see this.
If she
because
sings,
you guys are gonna make
you
me
feel the love tonight.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna be producing
With some
the soundtrack.
Jay-Z rap in the middle.
No.
But going back to the Disney streaming service thing, do you think they're gonna? Okay, I answered my own question. They are definitely gonna have only, streaming only whatever, because everybody's doing that, right?
Yeah,
exclusive.
that's exactly right.
Disney exclusive streaming service.
Why wouldn't they do that? So now, look at. I mean, you don't have children, so you don't know. I got nieces and nephews. They just live on Netflix and Disney shows repeatedly. So yeah, Disney can just stop putting stuff out elsewhere, put it up on their streaming service.
That's
and I guarantee,
gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, they're seeing the end of cable.
Every adult with child is going to have their streaming service.
The Disney Channel will just end up being Disney streaming. Like, they're just, that's what they're going to do too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Disney Channel.
Oh, the Disney Channel is.
Jesus,
I mean, come on,
it's
dude.
still going really strong. Yeah, with all these Disney stars and whatever.
Yeah, Disney stars.
Jesus.
That's another thing that pisses me off about Disney. If you watch the Disney Channel, they start a new TV series and they tell the child that this is the new star. Like, and we've got a new show, Sunny Side Up, starring the new hit actress, Josie something or other, that nobody's ever heard of. But the Disney Channel tells the 5-year-old that this is the person, and they're like, I want to watch this show with so-and-so in it because she's so cool. Why? Because some voiceover guy on Disney told you. You don't know who she is. You've never seen her before.
You gotta build your own hype.
That's how they launch these careers. They will it into existence. They have so much power that they just tell the 5-year-old, this person is cool. You love them. Oh, I do. And then all of a sudden they're Miley Cyrus. Like,
I mean, that's what I'm doing. So,
dude, why did I get in this mood?
did you
We
hear
did this to you.
the Nerdy Things podcast with Jules the Human? Right, that's a good show. That's
You don't sound as convincing as the Disney voiceover guy. Sorry.
sorry.
Let's see if we can soothe Tim a little bit. Tim,
Yes,
Super Mario Odyssey is coming for the Switch.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yay!
And it is apparently the first Mario game with an E10 plus rating.
Yep.
Why
All
is
right.
that?
I don't know.
They
I
haven't
think you
said
can
yet.
do some weird shit in it.
No, you know what I think? I've heard a lot about this. To get the 10 plus rating, there's really specific things that would be so trivial that can warrant that. Like, there's a whole wedding theme in this. So if there's a toast with champagne or that looks like champagne, the implication of alcohol automatically makes it
The
10 plus.
implication.
No, see, I'm serious.
That's
That's
kinda
like
funny.
apparently a real thing. So it could
No,
be something
that's-
as simple as that.
There are weird rules for rating systems.
Yeah.
Like, with PG-13, there's a certain number of times you can say fuck,
Yeah.
but worse things, there's no limits on.
You guys
So-
know how PG-13 was created, right? You ever hear that story?
Tell it.
So there was no PG-13. It was PG and then R. And then Indiana Jones 2, The Temple of Doom came out, and it was going to get an R rating. And they did not want that movie to have an R rating. But they also didn't want to cut anything. So they were so influential that basically they got the, what do you call the rating system to introduce an intermediate that would allow for more, violent graphic images and avoid the R rating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Tip of
The
the week.
more you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim's tips coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, and back in the early 90s or I guess it was probably the mid to late 90s by the time they actually got around to it, video games were the devil. So there was parent groups everywhere that were just like, video games are the devil. They're corrupting my child. They make them think evil thoughts and kill people. So that's why they came up with the rating system. So a lot of this strictness of the rating system probably goes back to when video games were the devil. So
They still are. They still have those groups.
Mm-hmm.
They do, but
they
they're
are-
aging out, finally.
They are somewhere on this
For sure.
flat Earth.
Oh boy.
Bowl Earth.
Yeah, but Odyssey looks really good. They've been showing a lot of gameplay on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of Let's Plays of the Mario Rabbids game, and they've been
Yes,
showing.
I already
like,
pre-ordered both of those.
oh, nice. Yeah, I've been watching some Let's Plays and some of the things you can do in Mario Rabbids. It's so cool, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks so good.
Dude, Nintendo's
I mean,
so
they
right
said the
now.
right things. With Rabbids, they said the exact right thing to get me to buy it. They said that the gameplay is XCOM-like. And XCOM, growing up, was my favorite video game ever. And it's like that turn-based research, science, alien invasion, cover shooter. Oh my god, I love it so much.
You gotta watch these Let's Plays. It's so cool what you can do in this game, and I'm about it. And
Awesome.
I need to get a Switch.
I am super excited. But I think I've put it off long enough. I think we're out of the news. I think we're into the main topic.
So something we're not so excited about.
The huge topic.
The huge topic.
So let's get a how should we go about this? The Dark Tower movie. We're gonna do a non-spoiler, just a little bit of a talk, and then we'll get into some spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, so we're going to do non-spoilers, then spoilers. I'll put timestamps down below.
Cool. Let's get some tweets. A lot of people reached out all over social media. There's tweets, there's Instagram stuff, there's somebody talked to me on Snapchat. Yeah. It's fun. It's awesome. Thank you guys, and keep that coming. Keep on talking to us because it's great. So at honor_night on Twitter had a really good one. He said the Dark Tower movie is a Cliff Notes version of Stephen King's master opus that even Derek Zoolander wouldn't understand. And there's a picture of Derek Zoolander, and it was pretty great.
What is this, a movie for ants?
That's an early nomination for Tweet of the Week. Right there.
Nice. Oh yeah, we're doing Tweet of the Week at the end of the pod, so that's a new thing. On Instagram, Alice Stairway to Heaven, who's a previous guest, a movie that's getting bad reviews that's got a 93-minute runtime, makes me think the company shaved the time down to maximize viewings in theaters. Just saying. And we'll have some thoughts on that in a little bit. Brittany Morales from Snapchat, somebody that listens to the show. The movie lacked an overall story. I never had a moment where it captured my full attention. The quality of the movie, from the soundtrack to even the quality of film production, was disappointing. Like I said, I haven't read the books, but I'm sure the movie could have been way better.
Wait, do we have a Snapchat?
We do not know. Y'all won't even do Insta stories, so.
Yeah, but how did that person reach out to us from Snapchat?
Because I have a Snapchat, Jesus.
Oh, they got a US Snapchat. Okay, I'm trying
I
to
was
make
like,
a connection
hey.
here. I'm like,
Oh, God.
I'm with you. All right. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, how did this happen? Some sort of magical Snapchat crossover into some other. All right, we're good. I'm on board.
So yeah, thank you for tweeting us. Thank you for messaging us. Make sure to do that at Nerdy Things Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Jules the Human on Snapchat if you want to do that. So let's do some talk. So let's talk about the way this movie finally came out. It was in production for the longest time. So many different people were attached to this movie. It never got picked up. Let's see. Let's see if I can bring it up. I think Ron Howard was supposed to do it. They didn't want him, or he didn't want to do it. J.J. Abrams was attached to this.
Wind up producing this. Yeah, I saw his name in this.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams was gonna do the thing.
He was gonna do the whole thing?
No, just half the thing.
Okay.
Who was supposed to be the gunslinger? There was a ton of people, huge names, that were supposed to be this ever since 2010, 2007.
Oh yeah, please.
J.J. Abrams would have been awesome. I actually really, this would have been awesome if it was J.J. Abrams.
I don't think that was the whole problem, though.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. All right, first of all, why don't we just start with this? Kevin, did you like it?
No.
What? Tell me, like, quick, 10 seconds.
Non-spoilers.
No, yeah, just 10
Non-spoilers.
seconds of your opinion.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I felt like it had no cohesive story.
But did you hate it? Like, you thought it was the worst?
I literally was falling asleep in the middle of it.
Jules, 10 seconds.
It made me want to dive into the story because I didn't know anything that was going on. Like, I'm probably gonna read the books because I want more, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but yeah, it was pretty boring. I had the Ghost in the Shell syndrome where I wanted to check my phone the whole time, and I pretty much did because
I didn't hate it. And
no, I didn't hate it.
yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, and the fact that like it made me want to read the story, like you, the books, that says something about the story. So, you know,
Sure.
when you say the producer or the director or whatever wasn't the whole problem, no, it definitely wasn't the whole problem, but obviously it had a good story, so with a better director it could have been a better movie.
Okay, true.
Right?
Yeah.
So
because they gave me just enough to where I'm like, I want to know more, and I can see the diamond in the rough in this movie, and I'm like, I know there can be so much better. Apparently, Stephen King says this is his magnum opus. This is his book series, 7 or 8 books that are the best that he.
I think it was 9. I was doing a little bit of research on this earlier, and first one, The Gunslinger, came out in 82, and what I was reading said there were 8 other books in the series.
this
I
movie's
think there's
as
like a
old as me.
prequel one. There's a prequel one.
I mean, this book is as old as me. 82? That's
82.
amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm probably going to pick up the books because I'm sort of interested and I want to know what it's all about. And apparently it made it so much better. So let's get into the movie, I guess. We don't need to explain the plot, I guess, because if you're listening...
Because the movie didn't either?
Oh, I like that one.
It got into the thing, dude. Like, you got the main premise of it. It wasn't, like, totally devoid of story and you know, direction.
Are we still doing non-spoilers?
Yeah, I think...
Are we ever doing non-spoilers?
No, we're into spoilers now.
We're always into spoilers.
All right, so timestamp. I can't even fucking speak. So
yeah. You don't want to see this movie. We're going to do
spoilers now.
spoilers. You don't want to see this movie. So
spoiler alert, not a good movie.
I just think it was like all super lukewarm the whole time. I don't know. It was just like there was some little valleys of okay, that's really interesting. I kind of like this, whatever, but it was all just kind of stale, and I could have gone without watching it, or I could have watched it.
But this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like, this had good ideas. This had nuggets of good ideas. But I feel like the rest of it was just this loose framework built up to support those ideas.
Well, it was clearly something that needed more time. This either needed to be multiple movies or it needed to be a TV series, because like there's clearly a lot of history and a lot of stuff with the gunslingers that we didn't get into. Like, they hint at it, but
more than you know.
There's a lot of lore there. I mean, sure, in 9 books there's a ton of it, you know what I mean? But so there's an interesting story there. I'm sure there's an interesting backstory as to how the Man in Black rose to power. You know, I'm sure there's more interesting story about how the kid uses his you know, psychokinetic powers or whatever it is he exactly has. You know, so I'm sure we could get into all of it more. So it was lack of time, but I will say, like, they filled you in enough that if it had to be a movie, like, I got it. Like, I got what was going on. I didn't feel lost.
No, I didn't feel lost. I just felt like they built up to nothing.
Well, is there supposed to be a sequel to it?
Lukewarm.
I mean, is that the idea that they just, you know, they built up to the
not
conclusion
now,
of this
'cause of the
episode?
money. They said it was like a reboot or a remake or a sequel to the 7th book. So it didn't really tell the story exactly the way it was from the books. They had to use the same concepts, but it was sort of a reboot sequel. I don't know. People can't really make up their mind what it was on the internet.
I'll tell you what it was.
I've heard a lot. What?
So here's the thing. So I read some of the books. I did stop well before the end. So what I'm going to tell you is based on what I've read on the internet, and any mistakes are mine, not anybody else's. So my understanding is flawed, I'm sure. But apparently in the books, Roland the Gunslinger is trying to defeat the Man in Black, who side note, happens to be Randall Flagg, the same bad guy from the other Stephen King, The Stand, and several other Stephen King stories. Same guy. So he's going there, and then he's also trying to get to the Dark Tower. And they focus for some reason on this horn that he lost, that was this artifact of his, and it's all about like personal responsibility and forgetting the face of your father and all of this stuff. And at the end of the books, he gets to the Dark Tower, steps through, and wakes up at the beginning of the first book. And there's this moment. Roland the Gunslinger. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, he gets to the Dark Tower, he goes inside, and when he gets inside the Dark Tower, all of a sudden he is back at the beginning of the first book. And Stephen King actually put a different edition of that book out that included a scene where the gunslinger is dizzy at the start. And so that's the indicator that this is a loop, that he's going through a loop. And every time he gets to the Dark Tower, he wakes up back at the beginning of the first book.
Interesting.
But in the movie,
now I don't want to read it.
he has the horn that he forgot in the books. And so in the movie, he has, for some reason, already been through everything in the books. And that's why this is a sequel to the books. But it's a different timeline. So they take some elements of the stories from the first two books and weave them into this movie, but change things.
I got you.
So because it doesn't have to be
Sure,
the same,
yeah.
because it's not a retelling. It's not the same story. This is a sequel. And I just feel like they need to just figure out what the hell they're doing and get their shit straight.
Well, yeah. I mean, it definitely wasn't perfect, and they definitely should have fleshed out more ideas, and they should have given it more time. I mean, the runtime should have been longer, or it should have been 2 movies or whatever. But given that information, that kind of makes sense as to how they went through the story, I guess.
Sure. That doesn't make it better, but it makes more sense now, I think, to me, because I was really confused, and I was trying to, after I watched the movie, I was like, what is this going on? And I looked it up, and I was like, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things, so that makes a lot more sense, what you just said, Kevin. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, they spent too much time in the movie with scenes that were not super important, and they didn't make me care. Coming from somebody that I wanted to know as little about this as I could and wanted to see if it still made sense. I wanted to see if it still was interesting or whatever. They spent a lot of time on scenes showing me things that didn't make me feel anything and scenes that were of nothing. And with the short runtime, they could have put time into some other scenes. You know what I mean? And I didn't really feel anything whenever his mom died.
She died off camera. Like,
yeah.
You're right. I didn't feel anything for that either because we didn't see it.
Well, we saw the little boy actor. What's his name? We saw him crying and stuff.
His name's like Tom Taylor or something like that. The actual actor.
Yeah, Tom Taylor. Yeah. We saw him crying, and we saw him. He's an okay actor, but all the
I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, all of it was
fine.
kind of lukewarm, but like he did great with the crying scene and a lot of stuff. But none of it leading up had me feeling anything for this relationship with his mother, and his relationship with the gunslinger. I don't know. It was just like all meh.
They tried really hard, in my opinion. They tried really hard to make this a shorter movie, which I don't quite understand why. Because they used a lot of little devices to try and fill you in. It was just mostly filling in. So, like, if you notice, every time he talks to his mom on the phone, every time without fail, he says, "I love you, Mom." Every single time. And that's like, a kid that age normally doesn't do that. And they made it was noticeable. So they tried to fill you in on the relationship that they have and how important she is to him. You know what I mean? Instead of actually developing the fleshing out that relationship. So they did a really admirable job, I think, of filling you in on the story, filling you in on some of these relationships, even using a scene to fill you in on the gunslinger and his father, some of the backstory with the man in black, they filled you in on all this stuff. But if instead of it being a 93-minute movie or whatever it was, if it was a 2-hour movie, we could have gotten that extra half an hour of fleshing out those relationships, and I would have cared more about the characters. That was my biggest complaint. I actually kind of liked the action. I thought the way Idris Elba played the gunslinger, his gunplay with the bullets, all of it was very cool. I thought that was shot pretty well. I actually thought it was kind of a pretty movie from a camera work standpoint. I just wanted to have a bigger emotional investment in the characters. And I think that if they had taken the same movie and just fleshed out a few scenes specifically with the goal of emotionally involving me in the character's story, then I think it could have been a much better movie.
See, I think that this movie should have done a lot of things different. Like, I don't think we needed so much build up with Jake at the beginning and his mom. I think we could have just kind of shorthanded some of that, got him to the gunslinger sooner, and then just because we assume that he's got a relationship with his mom. He's a teenager. He's got a rocky relationship with her, especially if she thinks he's crazy. Yes, he loves her, but he doesn't have to say it. And she can still go nuts looking for him. We don't have to see any of that. And I think that this movie should have taken a better stance on whether they were aiming for a sequel with it or not. Like, obviously they are, but I feel like they should have said, listen, we're going to do this story, but the first story arc is going to be 2 or 3 movies. Here we go. We're going to give you this, and it's going to have a definitive ending, but the good guys aren't going to win. We're going to set this up, and it's going to have powerful emotional moments. And at the end of the movie, you're going to go, oh, crap, now I need to see the sequel. Instead of, oh, crap, now they're going to make a sequel.
Yeah, it was a pretty definitive ending. And apparently, I mean, I know this now reading up on like the story and stuff. Apparently there's another big bad out there, whatever. And they didn't mention it at all. They just kind of, hey, he defeated the Man in Black. That's cool. This is the end. He's going to become a gunslinger. He's going to go to Midworld. Awesome. And that's the end, maybe. And then later on, if they decide to make, I mean, they probably are, or I don't know. Maybe they won't. They won't make a sequel, maybe, because of the money. But right. They want to make this more. They want to expand this story where they want to keep going or whatever. And it's just like, but you just finished it so well in the first one. But, why do I need to see the second one? You know? That's
kind of it. Like, so I'm going to dissect that last fight between the Man in Black and Roland the Gunslinger for a second. So we saw earlier in the movie when Roland's father was killed by the Man in Black because for some reason the Man in Black's brain power doesn't work on Roland. And I do mean for some reason. They literally do not get into why that is. So Man in Black says stop breathing to Roland's father, and he does. And then Roland shoots him in the back as he's walking away. And without flinching, Matthew McConaughey, who in that scene looks like Data from Star Trek, reaches his hand behind him and grabs the bullet out of the air as it's about to hit his neck without looking. All right? So this dude is powerful. Like, that's scary shit right there.
Yeah.
Bullets have no effect on him. All right? So then they're fighting at the portal at the end of the movie, and Matthew McConaughey keeps picking up rocks and using them to block the bullets. And I think that's kind of a neat thing. That's a great visual. It's showmanship. It's scary. And then he starts throwing the rocks and stuff at Roland. Roland shoots the glass above him, and McConaughey stops the glass shards with his mind powers and then throws them at Roland. But you know, apparently they can't go around corners. Like, he can't stop them and move them around corners because you just have to duck behind a pillar to block them. And then Roland shoots a bullet at him. And as he goes to stop the one bullet, he shoots another bullet that ricochets and hits the first bullet. So the second bullet went further and ricocheted, but somehow got to the first bullet.
Yeah.
In time. Yep. To deflect it, even though he could have used his mind powers and not just his hand to stop it, and it hits him and kills him. What the fuck did I just watch?
That was just a misplay on Matthew McConaughey, I think. But still, yes, that doesn't make sense.
Do you think when he catches the bullets that he slows them down?
He wasn't I don't know that he was trying, like, he wasn't catching that bullet except with his actual hand. And no, there was no indication that he was stopping the bullet with his mind powers to pluck it out of the air with his hand.
But how else?
There was every indication that he just grabbed it.
He doesn't move his hand that fast. That's the thing.
Because he's the devil.
Yeah, but hey, come on. We're dissecting the physics of this here, so let's not say because. So if his hand doesn't move at like a ridiculously fast speed, he is slowing the bullet down in order to catch it. Only logical explanation.
Then it wouldn't have penetrated him. Then when it ricocheted, it wouldn't have penetrated him.
He shot a third bullet,
when he was slowing it down, he shot a second bullet.
No, he shot a second bullet, which ricocheted the first one, and while that distracted the man in black, did he not shoot a third bullet directly into him?
No.
Are you sure?
The ricochet hit him.
No, yeah, he ricocheted the first bullet, and then it went into the man in black, and then he started shooting him again and again. So.
Again and again, but the first bullet went into him. The first
went
bullet
into
that was shot,
seeming his heart
that ricocheted,
or whatever.
Man, I
hit
thought
him
there
in the
was
heart.
a third bullet that went through him.
I'm sure there were. There were more bullets afterwards, but that one was still going fast enough to hit him.
Right, because
So
he was
even if it
slowing
was
down
slowed
the
down.
first one. And that's why the second one could catch up. That was kind of my point.
Whatever. But then
I guess
how
that
would
makes
Roland
sense, sort of.
know how much he's going to slow it down? It does.
Because
it still
he's a
doesn't make sense to
gunslinger
me.
and he shot
You're
a
still
guy
wrong.
'Cause he shoots
looking
with
the
his
other
arm.
direction
You're
from
still so wrong.
150 yards away through like 4 obstacles.
He shot with his heart. That's how he knew.
Yeah, he was killing with his heart.
Your argument's
He
invalid.
wasn't shooting with his eye. He wasn't shooting with his hand. He would dishonor the face of his father that way.
He was remembering the face of his father, unlike those whores on the bus.
That was so funny, dude. When he was in Earth,
Maybe-
they did that fish out of
Maybe
water
don't talk
thing
to
really
people
well.
here. Yeah, that was kind of good.
You have
So-
hepatitis
good, because-
A, B, C, D, radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of painkillers.
And then he gave him
Just
like
take
a-
one. You whores,
Yeah.
do not honor the face of your father. Oh my gosh, that was all so good.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to Matthew McConaughey and his sorcery, I guess, which was really cool. That was something that I really did like, but I think it could have been a little bit better. But Matthew McConaughey's character was just super cool. Just the way he was going around, just killing people, just stop breathing. And it was like, oh crap, this is a thing. And he killed the gunslinger's father that way. He's killed all these other people, and he's just going around and changing people's emotion.
You mean the Allstate
putting
guy,
hate
right?
into them? Yes,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
All state.
But the way Matthew McConaughey's character was just like so cool, and it was just like, whoa, this is somebody that, you know, is a force to be reckoned with because of how he's just so lackadaisical with how he's killing people, the way he's making people fight. You know, it was just super interesting. So that's something I really liked.
Remember
that,
when we were
this
wondering
villain.
how good a villain Matthew McConaughey could be?
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about that specifically, Jules. That's how he did it.
Yeah.
He played Matthew McConaughey as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super cool, man.
I
I'm
heard some
gonna
of
kill
it.
you.
Yeah.
Casual, though.
And he was super casual, and that was fine. Like, I didn't have a problem with him. I didn't think it was. I think the writing was bad. I think the acting was good.
He was good. Idris Elba
You
was
know.
good. I thought the kid was good. Like,
Yeah.
I thought they all played their parts really well. The end fight scene was pretty cool. It almost reminded me a little bit of Voldemort and Dumbledore. You know,
Sure,
kind of
yeah,
the way they were
okay.
going back and forth a little bit, one-upping each other with
Yeah.
tricks and stuff. That was kind of cool.
Countering each other. Yeah, it was a nice fight. Like, it was, even though they weren't necessarily equal power levels as such, they were still equals.
Listen,
They
I'll
did-
say
they
this.
did get into-
When I was going to the movie last night, I was getting my popcorn, and the kid who works behind the counter, it's the second time he's offered his opinion on the movie I'm seeing. And I'm like, okay, dude, cool. And he said, you know what?
Do you know who I am? I do a podcast.
Well, this is
Yeah.
what he's like. What are you seeing? And I'm like, my wife are like, oh, we're gonna see Dark Tower, and he says, oh, I liked it, and like I did his job, where he works. I was him, 15, 17, I don't know,
I was
however many years ago it
you.
was. No, I was. And so he's like, yeah. I'm like, I remember when I used to do that. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's a good movie because I don't want to make him feel bad because it's a bad movie. So I straight up told him, like, yeah, man, I haven't heard good things. I do a weekly podcast, so I'm seeing it out of obligation to that. And he goes, no, he says, listen, if nothing else, I had fun. I thought the bullets and all of that was really cool. I thought the action sequences were cool. He says, I enjoyed it. He says, I'm not going to say it was a great movie, but I enjoyed it. And you know what? Kudos to that dude. I don't know. Like, you didn't ask me what the name of my podcast was, so you obviously won't listen to this, but I'm shouting you out anyways. I'm with you. I'm kind of on board with what that kid said. movie had a lot of problems, but I thought it did a good enough job keeping me on story. I liked the acting performances, and I liked those actors, and I liked the action, so therefore I kind of bought into it. Would I watch it again? No. Do I wish I got it at Redbox instead of going to the theater? Yes. But I enjoyed it.
Well, you know what? Like, I know I go into these things looking to nitpick, but still, I don't want to be able to nitpick things easily. I don't want to sit down and watch a teacher break up a fight where one kid is beating the ever-living shit out of another kid, and they pull him off, and he's known behavioral issues. He's definitely, like, in therapy, and her response is, "Oh, Jake, you got to go home and chill out."
New York City Public School.
Okay.
They have 1,000 students, thousands and thousands of students, and they're all problem, like a lot of them are problem kids. They don't really have the same resources that you have in your suburban schools to, like, let's go see the counselor. It's like, no, dude, go home and chill out. Come back when you can control yourself. Like, that's it, the accent was wrong. That was the only problem. Yo.
All I could think.
Go home. Go back.
And that was a woman.
Right.
And as the movie went on, though, like, he runs away. He goes to the house that he saw in his dream for some reason, and opens the portal to wherever he wants to go. Now, the way that their portal numbering system worked, shouldn't that have taken him to the tower or the base of the Man in Black? Because that was 1919, and he put in 1919. And the portal opens up in the middle of a desert.
No, the portal to go to the tower was like 6011 or something.
Go to the
base.
Know, but that's my point. Like, he saw in his dream the symbol 1919 that was above the door at Matthew McConaughey's place, where he was putting the kids in the chair and shooting their brains at the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So why? What
Which
was
still
the
doesn't really make
importance
sense
of
to
that
me.
Number?
But yeah.
Otherwise. And then the portal opens, and he takes off his shoe and throws his shoe through the portal. Like, you're going to this desert world. You're going to need your shoe.
He wanted to make sure it wasn't going to incinerate him first.
Test
I actually
it.
gave him
that was
credit
actually
for that.
pretty smart, I think. Yeah.
He's in a house that's falling apart. Pick up any of the thousands of things that are laying around the ground. I'm sure there's needles. I'm sure there's a homeless man upstairs. Like, anything. Put anything through this portal rather than your shoe. Like, all I could think was Austin Powers. Who throws a shoe? Honestly. Like,
see, I was thinking.
I actually think that was a plus. Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I was giving him credit because I'm like, watching that, I'm thinking, I would have gone home and got my mom and been like, Mom, I told you. Look at this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I told you.
Yeah.
But no, he throws his shoe in and he's like, that didn't burn up. Let's go.
Or he could have sent, I think he had a smartphone, right? He could have just sent her a picture of it. Just text her a picture.
That's a better plot hole right there. Yeah.
He's like, boom,
he definitely
right?
should have texted her a picture.
And in that moment, I'm sitting there thinking, why wouldn't this portal lead to another portal? Like, another where you could get back?
Yeah.
Like, that would make sense. And fine, like, they showed us repeatedly that these portals don't necessarily lead to other doors. But then they showed us Matthew McConaughey leading to other doors with it. And that kind of threw me for a loop. But then when Roland and Jake come back to Earth to find the portal to the Man in Black's place, the portal lets them out in the kitchen of the restaurant. They defeat the Man in Black at another portal that he had that was fully functional. And instead of using that portal to go anywhere, they then walk back to the kitchen, which was the exit and didn't have a portal. So, and then
how did that happen? Yeah.
Right. They show the lights going on. So obviously they portaled out of there for some reason, somehow. What did I just watch? Like, did you not read your own script and go, oh, no, wait, that's right. There wasn't a portal there.
It's all just movie fun and goofs. It's all.
It isn't.
Hey. Yeah.
No. Just no.
Yeah, that's a lot of the Dark Tower talk. I don't know if y'all want to. What are some of your final thoughts? We kind of talked about it, and a rating, I guess, for this movie. Let's say. What was it? We'll do our scale. Guardians of the Galaxy was 10, 11. Baby Driver was out 9 or 10. For y'all, what was it? Ghost in the Shell was 0 for y'all. I gave it a 4.
Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a pair of shoes tied together, thrown over a power line.
On a scale of Ghost in the Shell to Guardians of the Galaxy.
1 to 10, whatever.
Yeah, I get a 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about middle of the road 5.
I love how you give this a 5 because you're like, oh, I'm optimistic. It was a good movie. I would agree. I'd give this a 5 because this was a bad movie.
No, 5's like straight up middle of the road. You know what I mean? Ghost in the Shell was horrific. What was the other movie? I gave it 2 to like another movie I think that we reviewed before. I like.
We'll have to make a spreadsheet
wish
for these.
That I didn't see.
We'll get on it.
Anything under 5 is bordering on the wish that I didn't see it category. This is the wish I didn't pay movie theater price for it. Wish I paid Redbox price
same,
for
man.
it. You know what I mean? Like, didn't mind that I saw it. Just wish that I had seen it for $1.50 instead of 10. So
sure. And if it was on Netflix, I would probably, stop the movie and watch something else. That's kind of where I felt. Because during the movie, during that whole first 30-40 minutes, I was like, I could, I don't know, be talking on Twitter or something stupid like that. And I was just like, oh my God. So yeah, I think about 5 for me as well. Just one step up above Ghost in the Shell for me. And yeah, that's The Dark Tower. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did we miss? Did we talk about it? Tweet us at NerdyThingsPod at NerdyThingsPod. Tweet us, find us on Instagram, talk to us on Facebook, or anything like that. Just get into contact with us. If you still email, nerdythingspod at gmail.com. You can send us lengthy emails about how wrong we are.
Still waiting
about the
for
Dark
that
Tower.
lengthy email from that people you talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she said something about James Bond, but she never...
Yeah, where are you?
Maybe she's still writing it.
Where are you?
We're calling you out.
Where's your email?
So are we going to do this this new segment?
No, well, let's announce the new segment so then we can actively look at it this week. So yeah, tweet of the week, guys. This is a new thing we're gonna do, and it's not a broad tweet of the week from anybody on the internet. We want to nominate you guys when you respond to us. So what is the tweet of the week? And the way we're gonna do it is during the week we will read, as we always do, all of your tweets. Kevin will nominate one. Jules will nominate one. I will nominate another as the tweet of the week. We will read them on next week's podcast, and then there'll be a poll up that will vote. You guys get to vote on the tweet of the week, and we'll announce it the following week when we read the new nominations for tweet of the week. And there may be a prize or something that we could send out if you're looking for it to the winning tweeter.
Very nice.
Sure. So yeah, just at Nerdy Things Pod us, and yeah, that's how you can get nominated for tweet of the week and talk to us. And I think we're going to do what we did this past week. We're going to decide on a topic for next week and then let our patrons know first. And then y'all get to know probably Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever about what we're doing for the Thursday show. So be on the lookout. If you're a patron, go check it out. And if you want to become a patron and get to know what we're going to do next week, you get to hear the podcast before anybody else. You get exclusive content, patreon.com/nerdythingspod or nerdythingspod.com, and you can get merch, be our patron, and all that cool stuff there. And yeah.
For just $1 a month, you can feed 3 hungry nerds.
No, you can't feed 3 hungry nerds on $1 a month.
No.
Oh, sorry.
A whole bunch of you could give $1 and that wouldn't feed us.
I got lost for a second
Kevin
there.
and I have spent like $50 on 2 meals between the two of us in the last 4 days. So
That is true.
God.
That is true.
I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song Friends Don't Let Friends Go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com. He just released a new album called The Stoic.
The Stoic.
There it is.
And I'd like to thank the Bell Curve for letting us use his music underneath the main topic.
Right on.
Cool. And yeah, if you want to follow any of us on Twitter or any of that stuff, you can do that as well. We'll talk to you at Jules the Human for me. What is everybody else's Twitter handles?
I'm at Nerdy Ties.
And you can get at me at TimH1033.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, follow
Very
us
nice.
and we'll tweet to you and tweet at you and argue with you and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been
Perfect.
fun.
Thanks,
See
everyone.
you next week.
Have a good day.
Bye.